Hello Stampers and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I am super excited to show you all of these cards that I created with one of Stampin' Up's designer series paper stacks. And so these are just some of the cards that you can create with this. I made at least 4 each of all of these designs. So there's 6 designs and I made 4 each of each card. So that's 24 cards that I got at minimum, because I have more to show you, so stay tuned. But at least 24 cards from one designer series paper stack. How fabulous is that? So let's just set these aside and I will show you. This is the designer series paper stack. It's the All Abloom, and there's these two. So this is the front and the back. There's these two, the front and the back. And you'll notice some of the samples that I was showing actually use both the front and the back of the designer series paper. I really love to do that because then I don't have to pick which one I want to use. Instead, I get to use both, and then I'm not missing out on whatever's on the back side. And you'll also notice some of these designs I didn't use. So there's so many fabulous looks, and I love that it's the All Abloom because I love flowers, but yet I was still able to get some great man cards out of it. So that is definitely a win-win in my book. I love it. So you'll see I did some man cards with this stripe, but I love this as well. So it was really hard for me to hide that on the man cards, but I did use it for something else. Oh, this one. That was another one for the man card too. And one more. This one. So you actually get 4 sheets of each of these that I just showed you, and they all measure 4.5 by 6.5. So you can get a lot of great cards out of this. So we will just get started and I'll show you some of them. Like this great card is my man card, and it's very simple. I just used a piece of Whisper White cardstock and then added 1/2-inch strips. And then I added a little bit of twine there too. I do have links to all of these cards in the description box below, so be sure to check those out so you can see on my blog all of the ways that I created these. So I'm just going to kind of do a quick snapshot of each one. This one I actually did both the front and the back. So this right here was the flowers, and then the back was these little yellow dots that you see here. So I was actually able to use both with that card. Super love it. This one, very simple. I just used a piece and then added a little greeting and a flower there. So very simple card. You can whip these cards up in no time at all. This one is super fabulous, and you could even use it for some of the other designs that are in the pack as well. I just took one piece of the designer series paper, 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then I punched a hole in the center. I also did a few other ones where I punched the hole on the edge. So there's kind of a different look that you can get. This one kind of makes it look like it's fallen off, but how fabulous is that? Then there's this one, and this one I actually used both the front and the back. The polka dots here is the back, and then this was the front. And then this super fabulous one with the pinks and greens, and then I used a little baker's twine and I rounded all the corners. Even the card base is rounded as well. So super fabulous. So those were the 6 cards that I got out of the paper stack. But I also still had a lot of them that I didn't use. So you could do some of those same designs with any of these leftover pieces. And I thought about hurrying up and doing some cards with those as well. But then I thought this will give you some ideas on how to use some of the sheets. And then if you don't like some of them, you could always use some of these or use them for a completely different project. One of the other things that you'll notice is this piece here, for example, uses just a little bit of the paper, and there's a little trim that is actually left over. And so I had a whole bunch of those. Like you'll notice even this one, I had like a little section down here and then some trim along here too that I wasn't using. And so I had all these little strips left over, and I'm going to show you how you can use those. So see, I have all these strips in various sizes, and I even have these circles that you can do something with because I punched them out. You can use them on a card all together, or you can use them just as a little pop of a piece on a simple card. So for all of those little leftover pieces, I created these cards. How amazing is that quilted look? So you can see this one I kind of stuck to my blues, greens, and yellows. This one I added in some more of that darker green, yellow, and some pink. This one I super love because it has lots of pink in it. So it has a lot more of the pinks there. And then this one, and I was just going to show you how I created this little banner piece. My little greeting there, just to add a little extra flair. So I used the decorative label punch, and I stamped my greeting from the Petite Pears, and so I stamped that on there in Mossy Meadow, and then I punched out another one, and so you know that these are the same size, so there's no real layering them together because then it covers it up, right? So the awesome trick is to take this piece, and a lot of times I like to snip off just these little pieces here on the tip because I don't like how they poke out. And then I'm just going to cut this in half, and it doesn't have to be perfectly straight or anything at all, so that's the beauty of it. And then I'm just going to take my greeting and some snail adhesive, and I'm going to do a line at the top and a line at the bottom, and just leaving a little bit left over, I'm just going to stick that right on there so it has just that little bit of a border. How cute is that? So now you have that perfectly bordered greeting right there that you can add to any project. And you can either leave this spot open for that cute little patchwork, or you can always cover that up too. So whichever you prefer, you know, you could always put your greeting over here, or you could put it right over all those crisscrosses right there. So how fabulous is that? Again, like I said, I made 4 cards, and I could have gotten a lot more of these patchwork ones because I had lots of scraps left over. But I made 4 cards of these 6 with all of the 4 sheets, and then I still have a lot of designer series paper left over to use for other projects as well. So I still have all of these patterns left over. Super love it. So this is kind of a one sheet wonder look, but not using just one piece, but instead using the entire paper stack. And you could do that with lots of different patterns of paper, making, you know, whatever type of cards that you need to have on hand, whether they be all thank you or birthday or sympathy or man cards or girl cards, whatever you want. So be sure to check out my blog, laurastamppad.com, and again, I'll leave all the links below for all of the posts on these fabulous cards. So be sure to check that out. Happy stamping! Bye-bye.